But here's the part Nike didn't want anyone to see, because the leak wasn't the real bombshell. The real twist? Adidas knew about the deal weeks earlier, and what they did next is about to shock everyone.
What's going on, guys? This your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video. So it looked like Nike and Shedeur is cooking up some signature sneakers. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Cleveland. Let's get it. Let's go. Now, it was rumblings and rumors about Shedeur Sanders having his own sneaker come out. Now, I don't know if it's specifically going to be his own or player edition sneaker.
Before he ever played an NFL snap, Nike already went all in. Shedeur Sanders signs a massive deal before touching the field. Then, the moment he plays preseason, the contract explodes. Active player clause triggered. Numbers doubled. That's not hype, that's strategy. Nike didn't wait for proof, they bet on the brand. And now the shoe launch is showing exactly why they did. But wait till you hear what that deal actually turned into.
Nike is preparing what insiders describe as a record-breaking extension that could make Sanders the highest-paid rookie endorser in league history. The Spark jersey sales. Within weeks of his preseason debut,
Nike just dropped a bombshell that's got the entire sneaker world in chaos. A leaked document reveals Shedeur Sanders' signature shoe deal is worth a staggering $100 million, and Adidas executives got absolutely demolished on live television trying to defend their decision to let him walk. We're talking about the biggest fumble in sneaker history, and the fallout is just getting started. This isn't just about shoes anymore. This is about legacy, power, and one quarterback who just became the most valuable player Nike's ever signed. The question everyone's asking now, how did Adidas let this happen?
Colorado Buffaloes, that's all I'm going to say about the Colorado Buffs. We got long history over here. Well, not on this channel, but me, myself, with them. I'm wishing them nothing but success for their 2026 season. But it is going to be fireworks from what I'm hearing. And they're killing it with the transfer portal right now. It's politic reason why I don't cover them. I'm going to just leave it at that. I know a lot of you guys want me to, but it's just political reasons.
Look, we've seen massive sneaker deals before. LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, these are household names that transcended their sports. But what Nike just did with Shedeur Sanders is on a completely different level. And the way it all went down, absolutely savage. Let me break down exactly what happened, because the behind-the-scenes drama is even crazier than the numbers. It started about 3 months ago. Whispers in the industry suggested Shedeur was in serious talks with multiple brands. Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, they were all circling. But here's where it gets interesting. Adidas thought they had this in the bag. They'd been courting Shedeur since his Jackson State days, building a relationship, showing him mock-ups of potential signature shoes. Their executives were confident. Some insiders even said they had a verbal agreement ready to go. Then, everything changed. Nike, who'd been playing it quiet, suddenly came in with an offer that shattered every expectation. We're talking $100 million over 8 years, with full creative control, a signature shoe line launching within 18 months, and, this is the kicker, a percentage of all sales. Not just his signature line, but a cut of Nike Football's entire revenue stream. That's unprecedented. That's the kind of deal you give to someone you believe will define a generation. But wait, it gets better. Or worse, depending on which side you're on. When this leak happened, and trust me, this wasn't accidental, Adidas was blindsided. They thought they were competing against a standard Nike contract, maybe 40, 50 million if things got crazy. Nobody expected Nike to go nuclear. And the way Nike orchestrated this leak? Brilliant. Ruthless, but brilliant. Here's how it went down. A document labeled Project Primetime mysteriously found its way to a prominent sports business reporter. This document outlined the entire Shedeur Sanders deal, the money, the terms, the marketing strategy, everything. Within hours, it was all over social media. Sports shows were dissecting every detail. And Adidas? They had no idea it was coming. The timing couldn't have been worse for them. Just 2 days after this leak happened, Adidas executives were scheduled for a live segment on ESPN to discuss their football strategy heading into the new season. They walked into that studio thinking they'd talk about their latest cleat technology and maybe touch on some NFL partnerships. Instead, they got ambushed. Picture this. The segment starts normal enough. The host is asking softball questions about innovation, market positioning, standard corporate stuff. Then, about 5 minutes in, the host pivots. So, we've got to address the elephant in the room. Reports surfaced this week that Nike signed Shedeur Sanders to a $100 million deal. Adidas was reportedly in talks with him as well. Can you speak to that? You could see the blood drain from the executive's face. He wasn't prepared for this. Nobody briefed him. And what came out of his mouth next? Pure panic. He started with the classic corporate deflection. We can't comment on individual negotiations. But the hosts weren't having it. They pressed harder. Were you in talks with Shedeur? Did you make an offer? The executive tried to recover, talking about how Adidas values authentic relationships and long-term partnerships, but every word sounded hollow.
Political reasons, and we just gonna leave it at that. But this is the shoe. So as you guys can see here, it's several photos, bruh. It's saying legendary on the back, upside down. Now, Deion Sanders, legendary Shedeur Sanders at Nike, posted by Deion Sanders Jr. Shout out to Bucky, the homeboy. So you guys can look in the back there. There's a brown pair right there. These patent leather ones so damn nasty, bro. Mud.
Now here's where this story takes another turn, because Nike wasn't done. 3 days after that disastrous Adidas interview, Nike dropped a teaser video, 60 seconds of pure cinematic brilliance. No dialogue, just visuals. Shedeur training at dawn, throwing perfect spirals, breaking down film. The camera slowly pans to his feet, and there they are. A glimpse of the signature shoe, sleek, aggressive design, and at the end, one line, prime time, coming spring 2026. The internet lost its mind. Sneakerheads were analyzing every frame, trying to get a better look at the design. Sports analysts were debating whether Shedeur's on-field performance justified this level of investment. And you know what the consensus became? He's worth every penny. Think about what Shedeur brings to Nike's table. He's not just a talented quarterback with NFL potential, though he absolutely is that. He's a cultural icon, the son of Deion Sanders, growing up in the spotlight, handling pressure with grace, building his own brand independent of his father's legacy. That's marketable. That's the kind of story Nike excels at telling. But let's talk about what this means for the bigger picture, because this isn't just about one deal. This is Nike sending a message to every other brand in the sports world. We're still the kings, and we're not afraid to spend big to stay there. Adidas has been making moves, signing rising stars, trying to chip away at Nike's football dominance. This Shedeur deal? That's Nike saying, nice try, but we're always going to be one step ahead. And here's what makes this even more fascinating, the financial structure. That $100 million isn't just guaranteed money dumped on Shedeur's lap. It's incentive-loaded, tied to performance metrics, social media engagement, championship appearances. Nike structured this deal so that if Shedeur becomes what they think he'll become, both sides win massively. If he exceeds expectations, the deal could be worth even more. But what if he doesn't live up to the hype? What if injuries derail his career? What if the NFL doesn't embrace him the way college football has? These are the questions Adidas is probably asking themselves right now, trying to justify their decision not to match Nike's offer. And honestly, they might have a point. $100 million is an insane risk for someone who hasn't taken a single NFL snap. Except here's the thing everyone's missing. Nike isn't betting on Shedeur Sanders, the football player. They're betting on Shedeur Sanders, the brand. And that brand is bulletproof. Win or lose on the field, he's going to sell shoes. He's going to drive conversations. He's going to make Nike the default choice for an entire generation of young athletes who see themselves in his story. Look at his social media presence. Millions of engaged followers who hang on his every post. Look at how he carries himself, confident, stylish, articulate. Look at the way he's built relationships with other athletes, musicians, influencers. This kid understands branding in a way most professional athletes never grasp. Nike didn't just sign a quarterback, they signed a movement. And Adidas, they're scrambling. Word on the street is they've already started reaching out to other high-profile college athletes, trying to lock down the next big thing before Nike swoops in. But the damage is done. That live TV moment, that's going to haunt them for years. Every time a major signing happens, people will remember the executive who sat there speechless, unable to defend his company's decision. Here's something else that's been flying under the radar: the reaction from other Nike athletes. You'd think some of them might feel threatened, right? Here comes this young guy getting a massive deal that rivals what some established NFL stars are making. But the response has been overwhelmingly supportive. Pro Bowl players are hyping up Shedeur on social media. Veterans are welcoming him to the Nike family. That tells you something about how respected he is even before his pro career begins.
Damn. Do they say legendary on the bat? No, but they say, bro, look at the ice blue bottom. Look at the ice blue bottom. Oh, so these are coming out in April. These are coming out in April, bro. These right here are coming out in April, and they got Shedeur logo in there. Now, something that I've been hearing, maybe allegedly, is Shedeur possibly going back to the number 2. Possibly allegedly going back to the number 2. And if that is the case,
there's also been talk about the signature shoe itself. Leaks suggest it's going to incorporate technology from Nike's basketball and running lines, hybrid cushioning, adaptive fit, lightweight materials that don't sacrifice durability. The design is supposedly inspired by Shedeur's playing style: fast, precise, explosive. Nike's putting serious resources into making sure this launch is perfect because they know everyone's watching. And let's be real, everyone's waiting for Shedeur to fail. That's how this works. When someone gets a deal this big, this young, there's always a crowd hoping to see them fall short. But here's what those people don't understand about Shedeur Sanders. Pressure is where he thrives. The bigger the moment, the better he performs. That's not just athletic ability, that's mentality. That's the kind of person Nike wants representing their brand. Think about his college career. Every game was scrutinized, every throw analyzed, living under the shadow of his father's legend while trying to build his own. And what did he do? Dominated. Put up numbers that made NFL scouts take notice, handled media obligations like a seasoned pro, never let the noise affect his game. That's rare. That's what Nike saw and said, yeah, we'll bet $100 million on that. Now Adidas is left explaining to their shareholders why they didn't take that bet. They're left explaining how they let the biggest young football talent in a generation sign with their biggest competitor. They're left watching Nike's stock rise while theirs stagnates. And worst of all, they're left being the punchline to every joke about missing obvious opportunities. But wait until you hear what happened next, because Nike, proving they understand modern marketing better than anyone, launched a social media campaign the day after that Adidas interview. They didn't mention Adidas by name. They didn't have to. They just posted a simple message: "We invest in winners." 3 words, that's all it took. The comment section turned into a roast session. People were posting screenshots of that awkward TV silence, memes comparing Nike's aggressive strategy to Adidas's conservative approach. It was brutal, and Nike just sat back and let the internet do their marketing for them. This is next-level brand warfare. This is Nike not just signing a player, but orchestrating an entire narrative that makes them look visionary while making their competitor look incompetent. And the scary part? It's working. Retailers are already reporting increased interest in Nike football products. Youth leagues are seeing more kids asking for Nike gear specifically because of the Shedeur signing. The ripple effect of this deal is already being felt across the industry. So where does this leave us? We've got Shedeur Sanders sitting on a generational deal with the world's biggest sports brand. We've got Adidas trying to recover from a public relations disaster. We've got Nike positioning themselves to dominate football marketing for the next decade. And we've got the rest of the sports world watching, wondering who's next, which brand is going to make the next big move, and whether anyone can compete with Nike's willingness to go all in on young talent. Here's my take. Nike just changed the game. They proved that if you believe in someone's potential, not just their current ability, but their potential, you invest accordingly. They proved that signing a player before they're established can create more buzz than signing them after, and they proved that Adidas, despite their recent growth and innovation, still can't compete when Nike decides to flex their financial muscles. But the question remains, is Shedeur Sanders worth $100 million? Will this deal go down as one of the smartest investments Nike's ever made? Or will it become a cautionary tale about overpaying for potential? Only time will tell, but right now, in this moment, Nike looks like geniuses and Adidas looks like they fumbled the opportunity of a lifetime. What do you think? Did Nike overpay, or is Shedeur Sanders about to prove he's worth every single dollar? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear whether you think this is brilliant or reckless. And if you want to stay ahead of all the drama happening in sports business and see which brand makes the next massive move, hit that subscribe button, because trust me, this story is far from over.